There we go. So welcome to Happy Hour, December 2024, the last one of this year. So what we'll do is we'll go through a short presentation of some goals and objectives, or goals and objectives as I put on the screen here, for 2025. We've got a lot going on and really excited. So number one, very important, is registration. So some of the goals is actually every year to hit 200 plus new SCI goat registrations. We're really close in this year, hoping that we're hitting that 200 maybe this year, and we'll see how that goes. And then also working towards the 2,000 plus count for the global population. And hopefully we'll be able to put out some more solid numbers in the future as far as how many there are and where the population is. So on the right there, those are my two new additions to the herd.
If you'd like me to interject at this point, that 2,000 number, I just spoke with a lady at the Livestock Conservancy last week. She was getting our preliminary numbers for this year. And you have to have 200 plus or 200 registrations for 3 years in a row and a 2,000 global population. And she said right now the only numbers are coming from the U.S. and Canada. There aren't any others showing up in other places that they look. And I asked her to clarify at her next meeting with her people if we can hit that 2,000 at the end of the 3 years, or if that has to be like 200 new goats plus the 2,000 every year. I don't know that. I suspect it's so long as we're at the 2,000 by the end of the 3 years. But I didn't realize that 2,000 was a factor, and we're nowhere near that.
Yeah, do you know what our number is that we know of?
Not alive. I don't know how we're going to know how many are living until we get people to get in the herd book and somehow, someday, be able to mark deceased and alive goats.
Yeah.
So we need to work towards that.
I think some of that might pop up here in the next few slides too, on ways that we're going to be able to track that.
Yeah.
Also, another really good thing that the board has talked about is, getting better ways and easier ways for people to pay. So that includes using Zelle and PayPal. Easy and effective ways of getting payment where it needs to be. And then Sarah, our president, is also working on a new website. And so we're hoping to see that in the next few months to start honing it down and making it really friendly, user-friendly, and also look nice and organized. So one example is that we're working on too is our online herd book. And actually, I'll let Christy talk about this a little bit.
Well, we've been in the call it the beta testing stage. A few of us have access, and we're going through it, and we're trying to make sure that the software is importing the information appropriately. And there are some things that we still got to work on before we can open it up to the whole membership. We've got to work with the software developer and associated, but it is awesome. This is a screen of, you can look up any member that is in the SCIGBA. You can type in their name or their farm name and pull up their information. You can go to another slide if you want to, Aaron.
And I just added the search on the right.
Yeah. The pictures right now are not in the herd book. Eventually, I think we'll have the option to add pictures of each goat that's in our listing. This is, I believe this is where I just sorted. Was it your goats, Aaron? I don't remember what I grabbed. Okay, yeah. So, you can look at all the goats that Aaron has bred, or you can look at all the goats that Aaron currently owns. There's just 100 different ways to sort and look through things. You can click at the top of each tab in that table and sort by those, by the name, by the date of birth, anything you want. You can go to the next one. And then when you click on a particular animal, it will pull up all of that particular animal's information, the sire, the dam, who the breeder was, who the owner is, date of birth, all of that. And then you can go to the next slide. And then it also shows their pedigrees. So it's really, really nice. If you were looking to buy a goat or whatever, you can pull it up. If it's registered with us, you can pull it up and look at it and say, hey, that would work great or not great with, who you're trying to pair it with or whatever. Or you can look and say, okay, how many kids has this goat had, or just all sorts of information that's going to be so nice to have at our fingertips. And we're still working on it. Hopefully we can open it up. We were aiming for January. We'll see how this works out, talking with the software designer and how everything's being imported, but I'm crossing my fingers, January.
Thank you, Christy. Yeah, I've found it's very important to be able to look at some of this information. And so over the number of goats that I've gone and gotten, I've learned to just ask questions about, where they came from and that to give me an idea on my genetics. And in the future, we'll have the ability to actually do coefficients so that it'll help us with breeding in the future. And so this is going to be great, a great tool for everyone to use. And the longer that we're using this tool, the better it's going to be, because we're going to have more and more information on there as time goes. So that's a really big one. And Christy has been doing a lot with the registry and just really appreciated there. Another goal is to increase member involvement. So I have 2 slides of member involvement stuff, and any member is welcome to be part of a committee, and I encourage it. It's really good. It helps you learn more and interact with other breeders as well. And then board elections are every spring, and members who have been in good standing for 12 months are eligible to run for a position. And sorry about that, my dog. So it's just really important. And I put on a couple pictures there. I like adding photos to slides because it's more entertaining. But the photo on the left is actually a really recent photo where both Aaron Link and George were at a winter market. And so Aaron had her goats there and taking pictures. And you can see that she trains them to actually have costumes on for a Yule goat. And there were probably well over 100 people who actually took pictures with these goats on that time. And she has them really well trained. And she's working on a mature buck right now also to use for this. And so doing things like that, like Jenny and I drove an hour. It was a little bit over an hour to get to this event, but it was really important. And we got to help them both with their stands. So also just getting to know your other local breeders and creating new local breeders. Aaron is why both George and myself are breeders now. So that's right at the top of this list, is stay in contact with other local SCI breeders. And I encourage it no matter what association they want to be a part of. Just have those friendly relationships. Also attending happy hours like this. This is great to see, several people on the call. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to us.
I can tell you right now that happy hours are the only reason I'm a part of this registry. I mean, if I hadn't gotten to know the people I was going to be working with, there's no way I would have taken this position. No way. So I think it's critical that we get people involved in a casual way. Just get on, get to know people, and then they can decide if they want to, do the hard stuff.
Yeah, so it's great, and we have lots of involved people here today, so that's wonderful. Then I have on there that many of these are put on YouTube presentations, especially, and I've actually seen a really good number of people start attending because they see it on YouTube. They go to it, we share it on social media. We're just trying to get more involvement, and I think the more involved we are and the more we know each other, the better. I mean, we're spread out through the country, but it's super easy to get in touch with everyone with technology these days. Also, attending the annual meeting. Last year, the annual meeting, I was actually very sick. I slept through half of it, but I did my best to attend. But I think there were only about 5 of us there, so I think it's very important to attend the meetings and that. Also, buy a calendar. I encourage that. We are up to 17 purchased this year. This is our first year doing the calendar, and so I'm very happy. My goal was 20 actually to get sold, so I'm very happy to be sitting at 17. And part of the reason why I put that on the getting involved is we put a lot of dates, so all the happy hours are on there, so it's harder to forget. We also put on the annual meeting, Goattober. We put on, all the events that we're doing. So trying to just get more people to know when that stuff is going on as well. Being so active on social media is super important. It kind of feeds each other. Christy and I have gotten to know each other because we both are just active on there. And then Jana as well. And so that's just a good way to get to know each other. And then participate in contests. I had so much fun seeing other people's photos of contests. And then through those photos, actually, that's what we pulled from for most of the photos for the calendar. And we'll probably do another one next year. It was fun to put that together. I enjoyed that. And the contest, it sounds like, is going to go on every year. And it is worth participating in. We got a few awards, and we got gift certificates to a company that we were going to buy stuff from. So we're able to utilize those. Then we'll go on to the next topic, fundraising. So apparel, when we put up t-shirt orders, we're trying to get people, it's a twofold. When people see my shirt, I have the shirt over here with the buck on the front. You wouldn't believe how many people ask me about the goats purely because of that shirt. I was at the fair last year, and I bet you 30 people asked me about it because they saw my shirt. So it was a really good way of starting conversations, and it's just a stunning buck. And so wearing that apparel, buying it when it comes up, it does help give us a little bit of funding. Not a ton, but it does do a little bit. In this next year, we do plan on having an online storefront, so we don't have to wait for, the once a year or twice a year of us having shirts. I want to be able to buy, whoever buys a goat from me, I want to be able to hand them a t-shirt. It just creates that community, and I think that online storefront will really help with not just the fundraising, but also just encouraging other people to be involved. So, and then I already talked a bit about the calendar. Hopefully it's an annual item. That is the plan right now. And this year was, I didn't have a lot of time to put it together. So next year I hope it's even better, but I think it turned out well. I'm really excited about that, and really look forward to that in the future. And then here's where the Q&A comes a little bit. I'd like to know what other things am I missing? Christy and I put this presentation together, but I'm sure there are some things that we're missing. And then of course I had to put, my crimson clovers with my goat Ruby, just because I like that photo and that's what I like to see. So does anyone else want to add to what they'd like to see us doing?